everyone. Thank you for having me here today.
So Danielle's really kindly said that she would go through some answers on business tips for us. So we've got a few questions that everyone sent through to me in different ways as well, through email and through WhatsApp and different platforms. So thank you so much. So I'm going to start off straight away because I know that you've all got work to go to and things to get on with. So I'm going to go through the questions. So thank you so much, Danielle, for joining us today.
Oh, it's my pleasure, Kate. I always love chatting to you and chatting to our face yoga teachers and our gua teachers as well. We've just got such a lovely community. So thank you.
It is a lovely community. We've got such a nice community on the Facebook page as well, and a WhatsApp group that I run, people communicating and helping each other. And that's what's so important about this community, that we're all there for each other. So thank you so much, everyone, for being so kind all the time. So I'm going to go through some questions for you, Danielle. They've kindly been, I've written them out for you. So here we go. So we're going to go through the first couple of questions,
Okay.
and we might not get through them all as well,
That's
everyone.
fine.
So don't worry if we don't get through them all. I've tried to cover as much as I can with the questions that are sent through to me. So the first question, Danielle, is how do you start an online presence on social media?
Yeah. So the best advice I can give with that is just start. I never think there's a perfect time. It's like with anything in life, you just have to take that step one. And what I think is really nice to do to stop that overwhelm is pick a primary platform and really go for that to start off with. So I always talk about something called soulmate clients, and these are like your ideal clients. And it's quite nice to take a bit of time to actually write down and really think about, who is my ideal client? What do they do? What do they even look like? Where do they live? But also, what platform are they hanging out on? So let's give the example of Instagram. Maybe you're thinking, okay, so my ideal client, he or she or they is around this age, maybe they're on Instagram. Okay, so that's where I'm going to get started. And then make a decision how often you're going to post. If I could give one tip when it comes to social media, it is be consistent. And I really think, I've been lucky enough over the years to build up a following across all my platforms. Is well over 1 million now, and I've done that all organically. There's no sort of secret to it. It's not like I've been using paid ads or anything like that. It literally is because I've been consistent with it. So make a decision how often you can post, and again, you don't want to feel overwhelmed by it. So you might say, okay, I can do it 7 days a week. You might say, actually, for me, it's more like 3 days a week. But again, write this down. I love the power of writing things down. I think it's such a good way of making a commitment with ourselves, but also just manifesting as well. So maybe you make the decision, okay, I'm going to start with Instagram. I'm going to do it 4 days a week, and I'm going to be consistent with that. And then when you're posting, it's really important to post in the same way as you would to 300, 3,000, 300,000 followers as you would to 3 followers. So it doesn't matter how many people are seeing those early posts, particularly if you are starting from zero. Post with the same consistency, the same passion as you would at whatever number that you've got. And then when you're posting really consistently, have a think about how much value can I add to people. And I really think that's where my social media started taking off. When I look back at some of my early posts, I really cringe. And I think I really cringe because I was making them all about me, which sounds silly because, of course, when we're on Instagram, we're posting videos and photos of ourselves all the time. But it was really about, just what I was doing that day, or maybe some press I was in, or maybe an award I'd won, which is all lovely. And I still post on those things, maybe a little bit more on sort of things like Instagram or Facebook stories now. But what I try to do with every post that I make, every piece of content I create, is how is this going to help somebody? How is this going to add value to somebody? And I think when you do that, not only are you putting good vibes out to the universe, but you're also connecting with your soulmate client and you're starting to build that momentum and build that community, that's when somebody wants to share a post with a friend because it's made a difference to them. So they're going to want to share it with someone else. That's when someone's going to want to like a post or comment, which is really good then from the algorithm. And then your posts are seen by more people. So it doesn't mean that you always have to be giving tips all the time. You can add value in many ways. And I always use what I call the 3 E's. So every post you do should either be educational. So that works really nicely with what we all do, because we can educate people by giving people tips or advice. Or it should be entertaining in some way. Now, this doesn't mean it has to be really funny, it can just be something that's enjoyable for people to watch. Or it should have some level of emotion in it. So maybe it's a story about something you've been through. Maybe it's a really uplifting piece of content, but it should evoke an emotion, not only in you when you're posting it, but in the people reading it. So whenever I'm posting anything, I always think, how much value am I adding to people? And which of the 3 E's is this ticking off? And I'd say with my content, probably about 70% is educational, just because that's who I am. I'm a teacher, I love sharing. And then the other sort of, I would say 20% would be more sort of emotional, emotive, and then maybe 10% is entertaining. And that works well for me. But then I know other content creators, even in a similar industry to we are, that maybe would be like 70% entertaining because that's who they are, that's their personality. And I think it is important to share the real you as well. And then when you've decided on your initial platform, then start repurposing content. So I'm on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. They're like my main 4 platforms. I do other stuff on Pinterest. I don't tend to use Twitter so much, just because that's not where my sort of soulmate clients are hanging out. But it's those 4 platforms. So when I'm making, for example, say it's a 7-second video on Instagram, I'm saving that before I post it. I'm then posting it onto TikTok, and maybe I'm adding a bit of TikTok music, making it slightly different on there, but I'm using the same piece of content there again. Then I'm using on my Facebook, because Facebook now do Reels, so you can post it on there as well. And then I take it over to my YouTube Shorts. So YouTube Shorts are short vertical videos up to 1 minute. So then 7-second video, and let's say I just made one this morning, which is one about lifting the eyebrow area. And it's probably maybe 12 seconds, something like that. And I've saved that to my phone, and then I will post it different times in the week on those different platforms. And I like posting at different times in the week because I think it reaches different people. If you're posting the same video on all, let's say, 4 platforms at the same time, then somebody might be on their phone hopping between all those platforms in that moment. And actually, it's not having the same impact as if you posted one at 9 o'clock on a Tuesday, one at 8 p.m. on a Wednesday. You are reaching more audience. Because the other thing we need to remember is usually it's around 3% of our followers that even see our content, just because of the algorithm, the way that it, Instagram, but all social media is now. But I would say, sort of in conclusion to all that, if you are really getting started from the beginning with social media, it's about being consistent, showing up daily, providing value, and every post you make trying to really focus on your soulmate client, and then remembering you can repurpose videos. So we're all busy, we need to do things that are going to reach as many people as possible in the short amount of time as possible.
Brilliant. Thanks, Danielle. I got told the other day as well by a social media expert that when you post, I'm only on Instagram, so much better than what I am being on all these platforms. I aim to do YouTube very soon, but I'll get there. But I got told on Instagram that a post only is active, it's being shared for 17 hours. So don't be shy to repost something as well if you haven't had time to refilm.
I completely agree with that. And what I've been doing this year is I've been taking a lot more time off than I have, as you know, Katie, than I have definitely in previous years. And actually, from a public facing point of view, I don't think people have been realizing. But what I've been doing to save myself time is I've been using videos, say that I posted like a year ago, and maybe with the same text and caption and everything. But sometimes I'll take the raw video, maybe I'll put a different piece of music up and I'll repost that. And we always think people are going to remember, but they don't. And even if they do, even if there's those few people that go, hang on a minute, Danielle posted that video last March, why is she posting it again? Actually, it's going to be really useful because, I mean, you probably know what it's like as well as I do. Actually, we almost can't hear those messages enough. You know, it's like when I go to a yoga class and someone says, remember to breathe. It's so funny because I teach about deep breathing all the time, and actually you still need that reminder. So I always think to myself, even worst case scenario, someone is recognizing that you've already posted that content, even if it was last month and you're reposting it again. It doesn't matter, because if it's adding value to someone, that reminder is going to be of value.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Danielle. Such a good answer. So we're going to the next question. So the next question is how to get new sales and new clients.
Yeah. So it depends where you want to be teaching and how you want to be teaching. So many of you know I love what I call the magic wand technique. So this is, if someone could wave a magic wand, what would your ideal week of teaching face yoga, gua sha, or any other therapies that you offer? What would it look like? What would your ideal week look like? What's your ideal year look like? And again, write it down. It's really getting it very clear in your own mind. But again, it's so great when you're really manifesting that, when you start to visualize that. I love writing things down. I think it's almost so clear for the universe in terms of when we're talking about it more energetically, but for ourselves as well. So start with that, because I think what we often do is we get pulled in so many directions. We hear from other people, they're doing that, we think we should be doing that. People are asking us something and maybe it doesn't feel aligned for us, so it's not the right thing to do. Get super clear. It will help your yes be really strong yeses, and it will help your no's be really strong no's when you know exactly what you want. And then you can reverse engineer it. So you can go back through that and say, okay, so I said I would like to do 3 workshops every month. Okay, so where do I want to do those workshops? I would like to do them in this yoga studio, let's say. Okay, so we start to make connections with that yoga studio. So it helps your goal setting. So that's what I absolutely would recommend. Get clear on what you want, because unless you're clear on what you want, the sales are going to be difficult because you're not putting the energy out there. You're not attracting what you want, but you're also not taking that aligned action. So that would be absolutely step 1. Then when it comes to marketing, I still believe, even in this digital day and age, that word of mouth is absolutely the best marketing. Yeah. So if you already have clients or customers, if you're providing them with a good service, they're going to want to go and speak to other people about it. But also you can ask them directly for things like testimonials, that works really well. But also you can just chat to people. If you're starting from absolutely the beginning, have conversations with people. Someone can say to you, so what did you do over the summer? Oh, well, I did my training in facial gua sha. Oh, what's gua sha? Oh, it's this. Oh my gosh, my mum would love that. She's having a party with a group of friends. Would you come over? That really works. And that's how I run my business for sort of the first 8, 9, 10 years. I didn't use social media at all. I had a very basic website, I think maybe 2 or 3 years into my teaching. So I think, because I do so much online now, it's easy to think that's the way it's always been for me. But actually, I relied so much on word of mouth marketing. So I still think that is absolutely important. I mean, you don't need to do it quite as extreme as I did. I used to print out leaflets. I used to walk around town, hand it to people. Would you like to come to my relaxation classes? I'm doing it would literally like that. So you don't need to do it quite as much as that, because we are lucky now that we do have online marketing. So the other thing I think is really important, and it's not talked about enough, is email marketing. So when I say email marketing, I mean having a newsletter list, whether it be 3 people on there, 30 people on there, 300 people on there. It's such an effective way of marketing. I really think it's so important, because actually when people are scrolling through social media, they're getting an idea of your brand and your vibe and what you offer. But I don't think social media are always where sales are made. They are sometimes, but not always. So, actually, thinking about the value of being able to email people. And I think, again, we can get caught up on numbers with that. We can think, oh, I only have 20 email addresses. 20 email addresses. If you're doing a workshop and 10 of those people come along to that, fantastic. I think when it comes to numbers, and just going to quickly talk slightly more on that. I always like to think about numbers, whether it be on an email list or whether it be on social media, as real people. Because I think it's so important to visualize that. So, say you have a social media or a newsletter, and you have 100 people on there. So, say you have 100 followers on Instagram. I want you to visualize those 100 people sat in a room. That will definitely change the way that you're showing up, because it's easy to see just a tiny number on a screen and think that's not enough. Why is it worth me consistently showing up? But visualizing 100 people in a room, you go, wow, that's actually a lot of people. And they are the people that I am able to speak to easily and for free every single day. So, absolutely word of mouth, absolutely get into the habit of doing a newsletter. And you can do it once a month, you can do it once a week, whatever you like. But newsletter is so important. And then, of course, using social media, having that presence through social media, because even if people aren't making a sale with you through social media, maybe they're making it through your website or through word of mouth or through your newsletter. That's when they get an idea of who you are, how you speak, how you teach, how you present, what your energy is, the type of techniques you like teaching, what you're interested in. So it's always important to have some sort of social media presence, I think, in this day and age. If you know 100% social media is not for you, and 100% all your teaching is going to be in person and it's not going to be online at all, I think you can get away without having social media. But I think if you think, okay, I would like to do some form of online teaching, even if it's like Zoom, like this, or you would like to make sales digitally in some way, so even if it's someone booking through your website, then I think it is important to have a social media presence and take on all those tips that I mentioned in the first question.
Thank you, Danny. That's really helpful. Thank you. So the third question
Mm-hmm.
is, do you have any suggestions on promoting your business? Which is you've kind of covered there.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely, as I say, get clear on your soulmate client. That's so important. Get clear on your ideal week and year of teaching. Get clear on how much you want to be earning as well. And I know that can feel a really uncomfortable subject. And I think particularly for us as soulful women that want to help people and make a difference, and it almost feels like it's a taboo subject to actually, well, to speak about the finance side of it, but to even write it down, we feel that we should be, I guess, doing it for free, really. Is to, we do. And I know
Yeah.
we've all done it, and there's probably nobody here that doesn't feel like they just want to help everybody and they don't want to charge anybody. And we all feel like that every single day. But something I would definitely say is get clear on what your goal is, because you have to earn a living from this. And also, people want to pay you for the value that you're adding to them. People don't want you to do it for free. That's really, really important. And I think it's easy for us to get caught up on things like the economy, or maybe the area we live in, or, increase in prices at the moment, and that type of thing, is think, well, people haven't got the money, they haven't got the money. But what I've realised, I've been doing this for 20 years, and obviously lots of different things have happened with the economy all the way through, is when you are really providing somebody with a service, something that's making a difference to them, something that's adding value to them, they want to exchange money for that. They absolutely do. And I think you're also doing a disservice to people if you're not putting your offerings out there and if you're not speaking about your business. And I always say, no one else is going to be speaking about your business for you. You need to be doing it. And again, I think as soulful women, we feel a little bit it feels a bit icky in some ways, or a little bit like embarrassing to talk about our business, or to feel sort of salesy, or particularly to even talk about the money side of things. But I think this is really important, because if you're not talking about it, no one else is going to, and people are not going to know what you offer. And what I've realized as well over the years is you can make sales without being salesy. That's really important. Oh, I'm echoing a bit now. Can you hear that? Is that okay?
No, it's
No,
fine.
it's
Absolutely
okay.
fine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fine. Yeah, so keep talking about your business. Keep telling people what you offer. And it doesn't need to be pushy. It doesn't need to be forcing people to do something they don't want to do. But you need to let people know what you offer, and have a little think now. Have a think about what you've done over the last few weeks. Have you let enough people know about the services or even products that you offer? And if the answer to that is no, then you're probably not talking about your business enough. And keep that communication going. And again, I know that's a skill with all of us teachers. We're good at the communication, we're good at the connection side of things. So that's where it's important to keep that communication going. I'm not sure if that answers the question. I might have gone on a tangent
No,
there,
it's
Katie.
perfect. It is perfect. And you're so right in saying, when I've offered treatments or workshops for free, people haven't then wanted to ask to do it again because they don't want to ask you to have something for free.
Yeah.
So a value on it is perfect because people feel comfortable in asking them.
They do, and they also show up, which is important. There's
Yeah.
a saying: when people pay, they pay attention, which I think
Mm.
is really important. And also to value yourself as well. And it's fine to offer free tasters, or if there is something that has a structure going forward with it. So it might be like a 10-minute taster that feeds into a 8-session course, for example. That's absolutely fine, because there's a structure in that. You can be really open and honest with people about the 10-minute, that actually this is the course that you're going to be telling them about during that time. That is fine. And of course, it's fine to do things, for charity. That's important as well. Or when it's part of a community like what we're doing here, that's absolutely fine. But it's so important for people to pay you for the value you add.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much, Danielle. That was wonderful. Question 4. Is there a way to make full-time teaching possible?
Absolutely. I more connect with our face yoga teachers, but I know many of our face yoga teachers done the gua sha as well, and I'm getting to know the gua sha community too. But definitely I can speak from the face yoga that absolutely many of them teach face yoga full time. Some do it face yoga and other modalities. Some are just doing their face yoga, but I mean, face yoga is the same as gua sha. It's all the same concept with that, really. So it absolutely is, and I think it's important to understand: is that what you want, first of all? So going back to really that setting out of what you want, and what does full time look for you. So full time, for example, in an office would be maybe 9 to 5, Monday to Friday. Now, full time teaching, you couldn't do 9 to 5, or well, you could do, but it's not the way that it works. So full time teaching might look like 4 clients per day, each day of the week, because actually you're giving out so much more energy. You're getting paid much higher per hour than you would perhaps for a office job where you're in for 8 hours. 4 hours you're going to be looking at as full time. So also, yeah, getting clear on that. Plus, if you're, say, doing 4 hours a day, are you doing it all in one location? Or are you traveling to different locations? How long is a session? How long is it taking to set up? So that's the other important thing to realize. Full time doesn't have to be 8 hours a day, Monday to Friday. It can be 2 hours every evening, and that can be replacing perhaps a full-time income that you had from, let's say an office job or a retail job, because you can charge much more per hour for a gua sha or face yoga session than you would, if you were, for example, working for someone else in an office.
Absolutely. And what I do find as well, you're completely right, because when in lockdown, I was doing 10 hours straight from teaching facial gua sha and facial yoga.
Oh my
That took
goodness,
it out of me
Katie.
because I was overdoing it on myself. So
Hmm.
that was a big lesson, but that was,
Yeah.
we're all in a different situation then.
Yeah.
What I find now is the before and after care that also takes that time, and the organising of where you're going to present your work, research and all of that. And like you say, you get paid more for the time that you're doing the work, but you are working either side. So that's why the payment is larger on the time that you're teaching.
Yes, and that's an important point, Katie, because say we're charging £100 for a session, let's just say, we often think, oh my goodness, £100 for an hour. Well, actually, it's not an hour. If you're traveling to a location, you have to set up, you do the session, and then you have to clear up afterwards. Then you're having to travel home. You're having to do prep for the session, all the sales, the marketing that comes first, whether it's email conversations with people, whatever it might be. And actually, when you start to break it down, you think, actually, that £100 went down to about £20 per hour because of the hours that actually take me. So that's why I usually say to people, charge more than you think you should, not only because you're adding that amazing value to people, but also because of your time. 1 hour is never at 1 hour. I always think 1 hour really is 4 or 5 hours. And you also really, it's really important what you said, Katie, about the self-care aspect of things as well. It's important energetically to protect ourselves beforehand and to do that energetic clearing afterwards. And I know you've got amazing techniques that you do, Katie, with energy protection and energy clearing. And it can be a whole ritual if you want it to be, or it can be super simple. It can just be thinking, okay, so I'm going to visualize a protective bubble around me, and then when I finish the session, maybe I'm going to do some shaking out of my body, or maybe I'm going to mindfully wash my hands and clear the energy in that way. So it can be like that. For me, I find moving my body is really good. So what I tend to do before I do a session is like a grounding practice. So I ground my feet on the floor, almost visualize I've got roots going into the ground, and then I connect upwards as well. So almost imagining an energetic string upwards, and then I do a protective bubble around me, and then I just calm my nervous system with a little bit of breath. And that can take a couple of minutes. And then what I find once I've done a session, for me, moving my body helps to shift any stagnant energies. So as you know, I love walking. So if I can go for a walk, I'll do a walk. I love doing yoga. So if I can do that. But if I can't, I'm sure I look like a crazy person, but I will literally shake out my whole body and sometimes just do some very deep sort of exhalations and just clear everything. And I also find that's important for that transition too. So say I've been teaching a session, like I did a lovely free workshop which was talking all about our teacher training and everything last month, and I was holding space for hundreds and hundreds of people. I knew people would watch a recording and it would go into sort of thousands of people with that, and I was doing it in my home office here. And I knew that I had to go afterwards straight into bedtime with the kids, the routine for them and everything. And I knew that I could hear the noise upstairs. I knew they were all sort of waiting for me. So literally, I just shaked everything out, and then I just did that for less than 1 minute, but it just cleared things and got me into that. I guess it gives me like a transition then into the next thing that's happening into my life, because we don't always have that lovely time just to slowly clear up and go for a walk and clear our minds. So really just factor that in as well with your teaching, an energetic protection and then an energetic clearing.
Absolutely, yeah, yeah. And another way of doing it, just something simple, like just going off. I always wash my hands up to my elbows with cold water and clear off the energy of what I may have picked up, and then just give it a little dust off. Because sometimes you
Lovely.
don't have the time. It depends on the energy of the people you're teaching as well. Sometimes it can be really chilled and you leave really chilled, but other times it can be a lot of questions being thrown at you, and that's the time when you need that throw down. So it's
Do
good to add all that in. Thank you so much, Danielle.
absolutely.
So the next question, how are we doing for time? We're doing very good.
Good.
So the next question is, are there any other ways you would suggest to promote my business instead of using social media?
Yes, I think we've covered quite a lot of those already.
We did
So
kind of
word of
cover that, didn't we?
mouth
Yeah,
and
yeah,
newsletters, definitely.
yeah. Do you know there's one thing that I've done,
Mm.
because sometimes not being on social media, going back to where we were when you said about you were flyering around and
Yeah.
things. I'm not suggesting doing that, because I did that as well.
Yeah.
Hundreds
But
of times
do you know
going
what? I
through
think
doors.
that would still work, Katie. It's funny because we sort of laugh about it. But actually, if you want to teach in your local area, I mean, I used to go to things like health food shops and give them leaflets or put a poster up. You know, many health food shops have like a wall, or like little like vegan restaurants and that type of thing. I still think that
Yeah.
that's powerful because I often go into, you know, like a health food shop or a cafe like that, and I look and go, oh, nice, look, someone's doing a workshop, like a Qigong workshop. That sounds good.
Yeah, absolutely. And what I've done in my local area, because again, I've got children, I need to do the school run, I have to be around those times. And sometimes I might even forget something and I've got to run in with a sports kit because someone's forgotten something. I do it in local places. So I've gone to yoga studios, Pilates studios, cafes, salons, and I've given my information over, and then I get to do workshops in those places. So what I have done, so when I do get a workshop, I've got little flyers and things done up. So it shows people like what type of workshops are available, and then they can email you, get hold of you, and then hopefully you build up a community in that area, in that place, that whether it's a salon or yoga studio, and you can have a work program going on there then.
I agree, Katie. I think that's so important. And that also goes back to being clear on who your soulmate clients are, where they live, because actually, you know, what I run now is an online business that's international. So it actually makes sense for me showing up on social media every single day, making a podcast every week, a blog every week, 3 YouTubes a week, you know, 6 Instagram posts a week, everything I do, that makes sense. However, I spent many years teaching in the city that I live in, and exactly what you're saying, that's what I would focus on more. So I think marketing does need to be focused more on our goals really, rather than doing something because we think we should. That goes back to that again, or because we think the competition's doing that, or we've seen someone else doing that, so that must be the way to do it. Stay in your own lane.
Yeah, do what's right for you, definitely.
Yeah.
Um, the next question is, please give suggestions on getting repeat clients.
Yeah. So again, it comes back to knowing what you want. So being super clear on that. Also, and I guess it's not energetic, this is more practically. I'll talk about the energetic side of things in a minute, but practically have a what I call a package of sessions or workshops or classes or whatever it might be. So say for example you say, actually I would like to do gua sha or face yoga, and I would like to do it one-to-one, and I want to work people through a program. Maybe we're advancing people as we go on, maybe we're bringing things like meditation into it, maybe we're bringing face yoga into it, whatever it is you're bringing into it. Okay, so that really, I would say, maybe needs 6 sessions. That's what your offering is then. You know, so start with a very practical side of things. You need to let your clients know what you want. So if you want them to come for 6 sessions, have a 6 session package. Don't just have a one-off package. If you want to do one-offs, have a one-off package. You know, say you could, like for example, what I do now in terms of face-to-face teaching is I just do one-off workshops now and again, because I like to keep teaching in person, even though I do most things online. But I'm not looking for it to be like regular classes, but I've done obviously loads of that in the past. But again, you know, if I had done like a group class, I would do like a 10 sessions. So it's like every Tuesday, 6 o'clock, and it's 10 sessions, and people need to sign up for the 10 sessions. So that's the practical side of things. And then near the end of that, you know, you let people know about the next 10 sessions. What's it going to grow on of what you've done before? You know, what are we going to add on to that? What's going to be different? What's going to be the same? You know, getting people excited about the other side of it, because people want to keep coming to you. I always like thinking about it like a yoga class. Sometimes people will go to one yoga class and that will be it, you know, and that's fine. They've had an experience of it and they think, okay, there's probably hundreds of millions of YouTube videos on yoga. I'm just going to carry on doing it at home. Okay, fine. There's going to be a small percentage of people that do that. But most people are going to their yoga classes every week. And the reason they're going every week, even though they can get it for free online whenever they like, is for many reasons. It gives them that accountability when they're going at the same time every week and they're doing their techniques there with a teacher. It gives them that sense of community. So even if it's one-to-one with their teacher or it's a bigger group, it gives them that community there. You don't know what people's situation is. So sometimes people might want to do it because they enjoy getting out of the house. Maybe they do a job where they're working in the house, or maybe they've got young children. And actually for them, that's almost like a socialization for them. Maybe they just know that they haven't got time to do it at home. So actually they want someone to lead them through. Maybe they love it from the development point of view and the education point of view. So they're learning new things every week. So remember, there's so much value in people coming to a regular face yoga or a regular gua sha class. So really tap into those aspects as well. How can you give them accountability? How can you give them community? How can you give them ongoing learning? That is so important. And then also just energetically, remember your vibe attracts your tribe. So some of this comes down to mindset block clearing. So if we're going into it believing that people just come for one session and they leave, then generally that's what's going to manifest. Whereas if we just genuinely believe that people want to stay with us and be clients for life, that's what happens. And if we're struggling to believe that, that's when taking a bit of time to clear some of those mindset blocks. Like I love using EFT, emotional freedom technique. That works really nicely. My friend Poppy Delbridge is wonderful. She does something called rapid tapping, which is a really quick way. So you can go and check out her Instagram. She's got loads of stuff on there, which is a really quick way of clearing mindset blocks that we have. Because I think it's important to check in with ourselves. What do we really believe? And is this manifesting?
Absolutely. Thank you, Danielle. The next question is, if you don't have a social media, this kind of is already answered this one. Hang on, where should I? Oh, this one's a good one. Which are the best apps to help you on social media?
Yeah, so it's interesting. I don't use any scheduling apps or anything like that. I use each social media app to make the content. So I don't even know any of the ones that because I know there are ones you can make your content on and you can pre-schedule, but I tend to post in real time, even if I am reusing content. So I think it's good to pick a primary platform. So actually, I would say in 2020, when I went on TikTok, I would do quite a lot of my videos on TikTok. I would save them and then I would repost on the other platforms I talked about earlier. But what I've done the last sort of 3.5 so years is I make my content in Instagram. So I'll usually film or a video on my phone, then I'll upload it to Instagram. I'll put the text in there and I'll put any music I want or voiceover in there. I'll save it onto my phone before I post it, and then I'll reuse it on the other platform. So that just works really well for me. Like I said, I used to do it on TikTok and do it the other way around, but then you tend to get the TikTok watermark. That might have changed now. I think they might do it without. But that's what I tend to do, and it works really nicely. But also get into the habit of making what I call B-roll videos. So, and this is a really good tip to building up lots of content, but also very good if you feel a bit anxious about forward-facing video. So B-roll content is, for example, say you're sat at your desk and you're typing on a computer. Pop your phone up into your tripod and take a 5-second video of you typing on your laptop. Just leave it on your phone. You don't need to do anything with it at the moment. Same as if you're making a cup of tea. Pop it on your tripod, 20-second video of you making a cup of tea. You've got that content there. And if you get in the habit of doing that every single day, just a little 5-second video or a photo, give me a photo if you like, that's even easier. A quick photo of your herbal tea is absolutely fine. Keep it on your phone and then start using it when you want. You've got that whole load of what I call B-roll content then, and you can use it in so many ways. For example, typing at your computer, you could do, excuse me, I'm so sorry. Let me just have a...
That's a really good way of doing it, though, because even my teachers, they've got an app, Reel.
Yeah.
And they take a picture, don't they, of where they are.
Exactly
and
that.
All of a sudden there's a moment like, how about we need to take a picture of it? And that is your day, isn't it? And your clients are interested in what you actually do. Like, what tea do you drink? Where do you sit?
Absolutely.
People love it.
Absolutely. And you never know how you're going to be able to use that. Maybe you've got an upcoming workshop And you can just use that lovely video you did of 10 seconds of you at your computer and just say something like, sending emails to clients about the brand new workshop I'm teaching next month. You can use it in any way. Don't worry or overthink how you're going to use it. It can sit there on your phone until you're ready. And if you want to be really proactive about it, take one photo or video every day and get in the habit of posting it on either your Instagram or your Facebook stories. And never think that it's boring for people. Excuse me, Kate, I'm talking too much. um, Never think it's boring for people, because I still, even how much I use social media, I often think, do people really want to see that salad that I ate yesterday lunchtime? Apparently they do, Katie. So I am, but I think it's on the serious point of view, is actually what it does is it gets people to know, like, and trust you. And when people know, like, and trust you, that's how they're then going to become your clients, because people want to know who you are as a person. And that doesn't mean that you need to put everything about your personal life out there. But, by people knowing that, oh, you actually love that type of salad, or you've got really excited by those autumn leaves, or, you went swimming today, people connect with you in that way. They know you. And then your right soulmate clients will start to like you. And then in time, they will start to trust you as well, because we trust people that we know about. When people hold a lot of stuff back, I think as humans become almost like a little bit distrusting. So definitely let people know who you are, and then people connect with people. Not everyone's going to be your soulmate client. Not everyone's going to want to come to your classes and your sessions, but it's the same as not everyone's going to want to be your best friend in real life. But there are certain people who become really close friends in your life, and there will become certain people who will become your lifelong clients, and they will do that by liking and trusting you. And that's where that sort of B-roll video or behind the scenes really, really helps to build your brand and your business.
Absolutely, and that trust, the word trust has kept on coming out at me then. And it's
Really.
so true. My clients, I hear that so often. I trust you, Katie. Yes, I'll try that. I trust you. And because that trust is there, they go, sorry, I'm just getting someone in. They give it a go instead. And then I'll always say, if that doesn't work for you, we can adapt it and we can try something new. So they know there's a plan.
And Katie, that's so important, actually, listening to feedback that clients are giving you of why they come to you. Because actually, if you ask someone directly, they often don't give you the sort of feedback you want. They'll say, oh, I saw that leaflet up in that health food shop and I thought I'd come along. But that's not really the deep why, the deep reason why they're coming to see you. So listen to those little words that jump out at you. Like you're saying, your clients are saying the word trust to you a lot, Katie. So actually, that's something that you can really lean into more. How do I help my clients really feel that sense of trust and safety with me? Because that's my magic formula. Funnily enough, the thing that people always say to me is, I liked your energy. I connected with your energy. And I hear that word like and connect with energy so much. And that's something you can't, it's not tangible. It's not something that people can necessarily put in a testimonial. It's just a feeling. But I think when we have an understanding of that as a teacher and just listen to those words that people are saying, we can go, okay, so in that case, all I need to do is be myself. All I need to do is be me, because people are saying they want to connect with me because of my energy and there's a connection there. So therefore, just keep doing what I'm doing, and it's important to listen to that.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And I always say to the clients as well, any feedback's good feedback, because that makes me be able to do my work better for you.
Absolutely.
So the next question, we've got two more questions.
Okay, great.
How do you get your clients to come back for another session, treatment, or workshop?
Yeah, well, I think we've covered that really, in terms of making packages for people, leaning into all of those sense of community and accountability is really important, and also clearing mindset blocks.
But what I do find, if someone is a bit worried about booking 6 sessions because it's their first session, I'll say, come into the first session, see how you get on, and then at the end, make that effort to go over to them and check how they are, check how they're feeling, give them that one tip that's just for them, and then you can then say, oh, would you like to book in for next week? And then you've got them a little bit hooked in then, that you actually care, that you want to bring them along.
Yeah, absolutely. And always remember that there's going to be a percentage of people that aren't going to want to continue with you. And that happens at any stage of business. That happens when you are a month into business. That happens when you're 20 years into business. You can't please everyone all of the time.
No.
And you've always got to, I always almost allow myself a percentage of people that are going to say no and not going to want to do anything repeat. And I always allow myself a percentage of people that are going to be a real pain. So those people that are going to complain, those people that are going to say negative things about you, if it comes to social media, those people that are going to be trolls, always allow a percentage of people at any size of business are going to be like that. And then you can almost go, and there, that happens again. Okay, that's that percentage of people for this month. Okay, and it might be one person a year. It doesn't have to be a high percentage, but I think when you don't then take it personally, when you know that happens to absolutely every business, every single freelance person, expect it and then just let it go.
Yeah, that's when we do the shake.
Yeah, that shake it off.
Shake it to the ground.
Yeah. Put Taylor Swift on and shake it out.
And then the next question is, do you have any suggestions on affordable platforms for websites, selling online products and online workshops?
Yeah, it's funny because I asked my husband and business partner Bruce this last night, because he sent me the questions last night. And as I said to you, Kate, I'm not going to plan any of them. I'm going to download intuitively and give my intuitive answer, which is what I've done. But I asked him and I wrote down a couple of things he said, because I am not the techie person. Let me tell you that. I might be on it with social media, but it's only because I've taught myself to be that. I'm definitely not naturally someone that's good with like website building or the tech side of things. And he said to me, well, there's thousands, he said. There's absolutely thousands. So he said, if you want to start really basic, he said, Google even do websites. You could do the place where you register your domain name, even offer very basic websites that you can build yourself. You could do WordPress. That's apparently super simple. And again, there are so many that you can build yourself. Squarespace is a really sort of professional one that you can use. And again, you can get a website designer to do it for you very cheaply these days, actually. Or again, you can do one where it's literally step by step. You pull in that photo, you pull in that bit of text, it's giving you that template, particularly if you want something very basic. We changed last year to Kajabi. That's what we use. And the reason we did that is Kajabi are very much experts in online courses. And as you know, the face yoga course and the facial gua sha course are all hosted on Kajabi now, because that's the best platform for online courses. So we've also made our website Kajabi. But for our products, we still got it on our Kajabi website. We use Shopify, and you can do a website through Shopify as well.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you, Danielle. I have to say, Martin does all my tech. My husband does all my tech things, and at the moment we're using Squarespace, which is really, it's even I've been able to go on there and adapt things. So that shows that it's quite a good, easy platform to play around with.
Absolutely. And if you don't have a Bruce or a Martin to help you, either go so super simple and, like, say, do it yourself, or find locally. You don't even need to reach out to somebody like on the internet, but even locally there will be website builders, website designers, and ask them to build you a very basic website, or even very complicated, because I'm saying basic, but actually I know many of our teachers sell products and lots of different courses and everything like that. So you can get somebody to do it for you. And actually, Bruce didn't build our website. We actually did it, we did it through Kajabi. We used Marie on our team for it, but some of you might remember that I had Liz Ellery, and if you go back and last year on the Face Yoga Expert podcast, and I think it might be in the additional resources section actually of the Face Yoga Teacher Training course and the Facial Gua Sha Teacher Training course. Well, Liz is like a website branding expert, and she did a podcast with me giving loads of tips on that. So we used her for like a 1-day consultation, and she just went through everything, like all our colours we should be using, how our website should look, and then Marie did that for us, which is great. But yeah, Bruce understands that the technology a little bit more, even though he didn't sort of build it. But that's also really good. But don't get too caught up on things like colours. Even though it's nice to have some branding colours, I only really thought that through last year. And that's like 19 years into my business. So actually, we often think a brand is a colour scheme or a font we're using, and it's not. And I think one of my favourite quotes about a brand is what somebody says about you when you're not in the room. And that's really important to understand. Again, it's not a tangible thing, it's a feeling that people get. So it doesn't matter whether you've got all the beautiful shades of orange like a sunset on your website, or you've just got everything plain white. That really doesn't matter. What matters is that feeling that people get. And like you said, Katie, with you, people get that feeling of trust with you, and that feeling of really being like nurtured and safe with you. And that's something that is just your energy, and that's your brand. So colors are important, what websites look like are important, but I think it's a lot less important than people think it is.
Yeah, absolutely. Brilliant. Thank you so much, Danielle. That was
You're
so lovely. We did so well. It's under
welcome.
an hour. So
Amazing. Oh,
I don't know
thank
if there's any
you.
questions. No, we haven't got any questions on the side as well. So thank you so
Oh,
much.
you're very welcome.
Would you like to add anything more to?
Well, no, I mean, thank you very much
No.
for joining. What I'll do is you're going to send me the recording of this, and I've recorded all the audio and everything, and we'll make it a lovely little video, and we'll send it out to everyone. So you can send it out to the gua sha teachers, I'll send it out to the face yoga teachers, and then everyone can re-watch this whenever they want. So it's quite nice just to have it. Oh, and I've got another free workshop. So it's an hour and a half free workshop about social media, and it's on, gosh, I sent you the link. I think it's 20th of November.
20th, yeah.
Was it the 20th? Yeah, at 6 p.m.
Wednesday the 20th.
That's right, yes, at 6 p.m. GMT. So Katie, maybe if you could send that to the gua sha teachers, and I'll make sure the face yoga teachers have that. So that's going to be quite nice. It's going to be sort of more workshop form, where you're going to be able to get a little bit clearer on what to do with your social media, some steps. And I'll also be telling everybody about a live course I'm doing. And I very rarely do live Zoom courses. Normally I do sort of self-study ones, but I'm going to be doing a live 8-session social media and business course. So I'm really excited about that. So I'll be telling everyone about that during that workshop as well.
Brilliant. Thank you so much,
Thank
Danielle.
you.
And then I've got our next Zoom for facial yoga and facial gua sha teachers is on the 2nd of December, and that's our Christmas one. That's a scary thought, isn't it? Christmas one, but that's
my goodness,
all
I know.
all of us celebrating us for the year and getting a routine all together.
Lovely.
Nicola, you've got a question. You've got your hand up. Did you mean to? Or? No. See a little hand go on your screen. I press the button sometimes. I think. Brilliant.
Thank you so much, Katie. Lots of love, everybody. Bye bye.